Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Then here we go.
A scientist specializing in cryogenics, Dr. Victor Fries froze his wife to prevent her death from a rare disease. But he was injured in his lab and found himself unable to survive outside a sub-zero environment. This is Channel 5 News. Thank you.
Dum dum! Welcome back, everybody, to this episode where we marvel at the fact that Victor Freeze and Mr. Freeze are basically the same.
But isn't that Fries?
Well, that's what they want you to think, Brandon. They really want you to think that there was legitimately a guy called Edward Nigma who just decided one day. Like, they make it out that everyone becomes a supervillain of their own free will, right? But I'm telling you, this was written by Calvinists, because only in a world where someone is called Enigma do they become the Riddler. I'm sorry. Only in a world where someone's called Victor Freeze do they literally, like, specializing in cryogenics as well. Like, did no one say to him, oh yeah, I bet you're Dr. Freeze. Kind of funny that Dr. Freeze works in cryogenics. It's like that blooming episode of The Office.
I was just about to say that. What the heck?
An icy reception! Also, one thing I will say as well in terms of the villains, they can't make, in terms of this game at least, they can't make their mind up between if the Riddler is Joker or if Joker is the Riddler. Like, the Riddler's riddles look an awful lot like the Joker's jokes, and I'm kind of like, what's the situation?
At the end of the day, Josh, they both suffer from the human condition. So
oh, not this again.
That's exactly what's happening. So
that guy flew further than a level 1 Skyrim character fighting a giant. Blimey heck. You can only talk to this guy if you have riddle powers.
Do you know what? Speaking of riddles, right? I was on a walk like the other week with my family, my niece and nephew, and my nephew's like 5 or 6. I genuinely can't remember. And my niece, who's much older, I was like, we would talk about riddles and telling him. And my nephew thought you just had to say random stuff to, like, for it to qualify as a riddle. So he was just saying the most randomest stuff ever as a question and assuming that was what it was.
Yeah.
Absolutely love
that's brilliant.
Childhood innocence.
I did the same thing with jokes, you know, like stand-up. I thought it was about the tone of voice, and that if you made it sound like a joke, it was a joke. So
to be fair.
Oh man, in fact, every time I think about this, I just cringe so much, and I think about it a lot. When I was in primary school, me and a couple of mates were in like the school talent show, and we did like a comedy trio.
Oh really?
And we had one segment where the three of us did like our own like joke. It was not good. The other two told jokes, right, that they heard. I tried to make one up that was loosely based off of some stand-up that I saw John Bishop doing on TV. I didn't understand the joke. I didn't know what the joke was about. And so I just changed the words that he used in his joke. And
wow.
I will never stop regretting that moment. Being stood on stage in front of the entire school as all of their faces went from, like, waiting for a punchline to realizing there was no punchline to realizing that I was now like, why is no one laughing? This should be hilarious because all the people on TV laughed at it. And that was the
but-
day that I grew to resent the laugh track.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, it's a great learning curve. At least it wasn't on Britain's Got Talent, because you see a lot of that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you could say that it was a learning curve.
Right. I think a lot of stand-up, if it's done with enough confidence, you probably get away with a bunch of jokes. So, I mean, I think at a young age, of course, you're like, it really is a lot about the tone and delivery.
Yeah, definitely.
And I mean, I think I saw, I don't know how to get these. Is it worth it?
It's not worth it. They're worth 10, and you lose like 3,000 when you die.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think like I know Rowan Atkinson. He bases a lot of his jokes on like the attitude of the joke and like the tone of it.
Yeah. Also, I hope you're enjoying using the most obnoxious suit in the entire game.
Well, you know, you get to take your time with it. Oh, except when you're getting shot at, don't take your time with that.
Is, once again, be glad that.
Oh, you absolutely kidding me?
Never mind, I don't
Okay.
have to say it. I was gonna say be glad you're playing with a controller, but apparently, my childhood trauma on the PS2 wasn't just made up; it did happen. That was one thing about this game. When I first got it on Steam, I was like, oh man, yeah, it's a nostalgia trip. Oh, I love it so much. It's so great. It's just how I remember it, but better. Like, because now I understand everything and I can appreciate the level design. And oh, weren't the Lego games so good back then? No, the controls. There's some of the most janky, like, pixel perfect jumps you have to make. Otherwise, you die. It's just... It's a nightmare.
It's a shame, isn't it?
I think it was designed that way so that kids would, like, effectively a 20-hour game would last, like, twice that. Because, you know, as like a 7-year-old kid, when I was first playing this game, there was some levels that felt like they took forever. I mean, first off, I was a kid, everything felt like forever, but...
oh, yeah, that's true.
There's also, like that segment there, right? As a kid, I would have probably had to do that, like, 3 times to get it right.
Yeah.
Minimum.
It's surprising, isn't it? Bringing up my nephew again, the star guest of the
Shout
show.
out to Brandon's nephew. How you doing, buddy? If you're listening to this, you're a legend, and you've created 5 minutes worth of content on YouTube.
Absolute legend. Oh, that was cool. Oh, that wasn't cool.
That was
I
not
apologize. Sorry about that.
That was not very superhero-like.
No. But he plays on Spiderman on the PS4 quite a lot at mine now.
Ah, yeah.
And bless. I go downstairs for like a minute and he needs my help with the most basic stuff.
Yeah.
I get a little easily frustrated to be like, you just do this, it's simple. And then you start to realize, okay, actually, what I think is easy now,
totally.
I need to remember, is so difficult at that age.
Yeah. I remember I got my dad to try and help me out with the Star Wars game I was playing, and I ended up asking him. He was like trying to cook the tea as well at the same time. So he's like got food cooking, and I'm here like, how do I deflect the laser bullets? And after asking him for help like 5 times in a row, he was like, look, if you want to continue playing it, you're either gonna have to figure it out or just play something else, because.
Yeah, which is so fair enough. At the time, you probably like. I think I remember at times like that. You're like, oh gosh, why you gotta be busy? Why you gotta be doing all this stuff? And it's like, when you grow up, you're like, yeah, definitely understand that now. My gosh, don't die.
I got cold
That's
feet. Also, you don't know this now, but there's been a laugh track playing every single time we made a joke since I said that I didn't like laugh tracks.
Nice.
That was one of them. That's why there was such a long pause.
I'm gonna let you be in charge of all of that if you ever dare put a laugh track in our content.
And he didn't even like hedgehogs. Oh, that was one I used to do all the time in secondary school. Is the kind of you know like the thing where in a movie they're telling a joke but it's only the punchline.
Yeah.
My go-to one was, and the hedgehog didn't even like cucumbers, and I forgot to do the thing that they do in movies beforehand, where you tell them when to laugh. So no one laughed at it, so everyone was like, "What are you on about?"
Yeah. Do you know what? See, I'm a very witty person. Well, I can be. Some days I'm not. But when it comes to telling an actual joke, you see, you know me. I can't just get to the point. I like to kind of... I'm a bit discursive. I take my time telling a story. I might have a little side story. I might have a few side quests here and there.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm telling a joke, by the time I even get near the punchline, people are just fed up. So, I mean, even me telling you that right now probably could have been limited at least by like 10, 15 words. I'm a very witty person. When it comes to telling an actual joke, I can't just get to the point. I like to take my time telling a story. So whenever I'm telling a joke, by the time I even get near the punchline, people are just fed up. I mean, even me telling you that right now probably could have been limited at least by like 10, 15 words. When it comes to telling a joke, I like to take my time. People are just fed up. Telling a joke, take time. People are fed up. So,
well, yeah, but you could say that about literally anything that comes out of anyone's mouth, you know?
That's true. Hey, we should take after... you want to jump up there? There we go.
Do you want to jump up there too?
I'd like to. I'll just pause you. What am I doing?
You doing this?
Oh yeah, I do have that. Sometimes you forget the gifts that you have. Sometimes you overlook the potential of what you have.
And unlike Lego Batman, life isn't always going to put you in a room where the only way of getting out is using that grapple.
Exactly. But as I was saying before, we should all take after Kevin, where use little words and sentence.
Why use big word when small word do just fine?
This is some of the free play content. You've got to have unlocked all the suits. You gotta play in free play. It gives you access to more characters, more superpowers, that sort of thing. So listen up, Robin. If we're gonna speedrun the game, we can't afford to be going to all these side areas where we can't really do anything. The best thing we can do in our first run, Robin, and I hope you listen closely, is getting the true superhero unlocked, so we don't have to do it the second time. That's it. That's all we have to do. But even then, you can unlock the true superhero on the free play version, so, you know, I'll let you do the math, to be honest. If we want to optimize the run, then... Alright, let's go.
Why,
Damn it!
Why?
I hurt my voice so much doing that. I hope it was worth it.
Why, thanks, Batman. I'll, subscribe to you, and,
Subscribe to Batman Speedrun Tips for speedrun tips on how to speedrun Batman quickly in a speedrun fashion. Riddle time! You're locked in here! Haha, what a slippery slope! Haha!
I did the exact same thing that I did for Clayface in terms of the cadence. I just did the Riddler voice instead.
I mean, it works.
I can't tell if I'm Mr. Freeze or a Crosshair from the Bad Batch.
Oh, you do sound like him, don't you? Yeah. What have you been
Good.
thinking of that, by the way?
I think it's great. Like, I wish that they did a bit more in the episodes.
I know. Do you not think it's a bit of a cliche now, where, like, there's this creature, like, they're stranded on a planet?
Yeah. It's basically Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I've seen this.
However,
Flawed.
I think what is valuable that they've added to it is the world building, because it's an
Very
era
much.
where like I'm basically waiting for the gradual shift. Like, I'm waiting for the episode where they reveal the Stormtrooper armor, and it's gonna feel like the first time we've ever seen it. That's what I'm waiting for.
I agree, because that's a genuine question that I had for quite a lot of years, actually. I was like, why did they properly transition from clones to stormtroopers?
Yeah, well, I actually saw a really clever response about that, in terms of, like, there was someone who was like, oh, why did they have to have humans and not keep the clones? So the idea was that clones were more expensive, and what the Empire wanted was loyalty, which is something they mention in the Bad Batch. And the way that they do that is through propaganda and through, like, recruitment, which meant that the people didn't realize they were in a regime kind of thing.
Let's kill Mr.
Oh, wait, do we have to build another... I have no idea what... I think we haven't...
I'm proper confused here.
Yeah, I can't do the boss fight and talk about why stormtroopers were necessary at the same time. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, the other argument was, well, droids are a lot cheaper and they can be programmed to be subservient, so why not use droids? The reasons were twofold. So, as we've seen with Tick is really good at reprogramming clowns. Sorry, all Australian listeners / megachurch leaders.
Yeah, true.
That's just what I think every time I see Omega. I know
That's what I was
know I
gonna
shouldn't, but I was kind of like, aren't we so happy that the Lord is with us today? That's just what I say every single time.
Like, as a quick comment there as well, all I was thinking every time she talks was like, I really like a character, but I'm like, that voice just annoys me just a little bit, and
how dare you?
It shouldn't. It should not.
It really shouldn't. Yeah, it's. I've fell victim to the same thing though. I was like, this is a really good character. It is. It really is. It's a really good character.
I know. I really like her. That ending of the third episode was so touching.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, continue what you're saying with the droid thing.
With the droids, the Clone Wars had just finished, and the Clone Wars was a fight against the droid army. So the public didn't trust droids anymore. So as a result, the Empire wanted to use humans so they were like, if they can get their own citizens to fight their wars, then that's a bonus. So that's what they tried to do.
And it's such a subtle, clever form of world building, and this is why, like, I actually do think the whole politics of it all, particularly from the prequels, really works in developing.
Brilliant. I mean, the whole idea of one person playing both sides of the conflict, it's like, it's something that we see in real life.
Exactly.
And it's really clever. I mean, one thing is that Palpatine can be seen as being a bit too clever. Like, the amount of things he planned for, but in terms of the overall premise, like, why would anyone play two sides of a war against each other? Well, because it means they don't have to fight the war, and regardless of which side wins, they win. So it was a brilliant plan, and I think in terms of, like, after however long was it 20 years, I think? No, maybe about 10-15 years after the Return of the Jedi that Phantom Menace came out. So in terms of the plot for what the Clone Wars was going to be, and, like, the rise of the Empire, I think George Lucas did a really clever job with it. And it all fit together so well.
Exactly. No, I totally agree. Ooh.
See, this is a bit like the Darth Maul fight in the Complete Saga Lego, but worse. Because instead of one person being like having the Force used on them, it's like if anyone goes anywhere near the beam, instantly frozen for like 3 seconds.
I know.
And he's only vulnerable for like 1 second. So
yeah.
It appears Mr. Freeze is down. What's that over there? Yeah.
I'll go check it out.
I don't like being the punchline.
I feel cold.
What a line. I used to love that scene so much as a kid. I think I used to even reenact that when I used to play with like swords and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
Hey, Josh and Brandon, when are you guys gonna do a crossover collab episode on Pirates of the Caribbean?
Well, I'm glad you asked, faithful viewer. I'm sure we will at some point.
Yeah, I know.
We did have a chat about it, didn't we? Actually, last summer when we were first like talking through like different movies we liked.
It was really interesting. Yeah, we should really talk about that again. It's been definitely long enough where I can't really remember anything we talked about.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
We hope you had a great time. Hope you enjoyed it. You had a little giggle.
And don't forget to let us know in the comments if you like the Mr. Freeze voice.
/ speedrunner voice.
I can't wait for when we're doing the villain levels, because instead of doing like just Batman and Robin's voice, it's going to be a different villain voice every level, which is what we're doing great. Anyway. But
that's going to be might be mind numbing. Might be be particularly interesting. But I'll practice. I'll get my my Two-Face on.
Nice.
Which is just way more intense, Matthew McConaughey, really.
Yeah, I mean, well, you better get practicing because next time on Crossover Casual.
Okay.
We're gonna get our Batmobile on.
Yeah.
See ya.
Okay.